Hey everybody, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Well, in this edition of JB on EDC, you probably read the title, What Makes a Good EDC Knife? For me, I can't tell you what makes a good EDC knife for you because I don't know your daily situation. We see videos like the best. Well, it may be the best for them, but it might not be the best for you. And we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. But for me, guys, I usually tend towards the smaller, lighter, everyday, EDC knives, like the bug out. To me, the bug out is still one of my favorite EDC knives. Absolutely. It's lightweight. It's big enough that it's going to do pretty much any of the daily tasks I'm going to run across. I mean, I say it a lot, but I mean, for most of us, our EDC requirements are not going to require anything huge. I mean, opening packages, cutting some stuff here and there, it just doesn't. Now, some of us have jobs that do require something a little bit heavier potentially. And, it's kind of like last video with the whole, the entire EDC. I kind of talked about what makes up my EDC. Excuse me. A lot of you remarked about situational EDC, and absolutely, that is a thing, 100%. And will I cater my EDC for those situations? Absolutely, 100% I will. But on a daily, just everyday basis, we really don't need anything too major to do what we need to do. Or to do what I need to do, I should say that. And that's why I tend towards the smaller, the bug outs. The Lander, I think the Lander is a great EDC size knife. I mean, it's not huge, but it slips in the pocket, it's lightweight, it's pretty much out of the way when it's in the pocket, and I really enjoy that. Now, you go just a tiny bit bigger, not a lot. I mean, if we look at the comparison there between the Devil's Finger and the bug out, I mean, well, there's not much difference, honestly. For some reason, I usually think this is a little bit bigger. Maybe because the blade's a little bit heftier, the handle, I don't know. I just do. And when I think, I'm going to take something a little bit bigger, I grab this. Well, as side-by-side comparison shows us, it's not really any bigger at all. I guess it's a mind thing for me. We got the Stevie Nugs. This is a pass-around knife. You'll be seeing a review on this here pretty soon. Again, it's not large, but it's big enough for me to pretty much do everything I'm going to need to do on a daily basis. Now, I mean, most people could probably get by with something like this, a little Kershaw Shuffle. Opening packages, cutting letters. You may cut a little, you can cut small zip ties with this or something like that. And, to be perfectly honest with you, another reason why I tend to go to a smaller knife is based on locality. Okay? Here in Washington, we have a 3-inch blade limit. Okay? Now, do I always carry knives that are 3 inches or less? Absolutely not. I do videos on many, many different knives, and sometimes I carry something a little bit bigger than that. Autos. Do I carry an auto? Sometime. Not the most legal thing to do here, but to review it and do a video on it, I need to carry it, and I need to use it. But, I could get away at the post office with opening something up like this, and, people around, probably nobody really bats an eye for the most part. Now, I whip out something like this, and go to open a package. Well, you guys know, well, a lot of you know my history. I'm probably going to get some really, really odd looks, and there's a really good chance I could get a visit from one of the local law enforcement agencies. You guys know that has happened to me before with a fixed blade in my own front yard because of my surroundings. Somebody saw something they didn't like. So, now there's probably places in the country where you could whip something like this out in the middle of a post office and nobody bats an eye. And I'm happy for you. I really am. But here, not so much. I'm not really willing to take that chance. So, that does play into it as well. Now, some of you, of course, size-wise, have larger hands. This maybe just doesn't cut it for you. You're like holding the knife like this, and you don't really like to. So you do carry something a little bit larger. Absolutely. It's your EDC knife is catered to you, not anyone else. And if someone tries to tell you something different, they probably shouldn't. I mean, you're the only one that can decide what's right for you. That's why this is what makes a good EDC knife for me. Now, and like I said last episode, I usually carry a couple of knives, something, and I'll maybe pair it, like this and this. Okay, that would be a good pair for me. One, the reason why is, a knife like this, somebody says, hey, do you have a knife? I mean, all the guys at work know I have a knife, but if they need a knife or something, I'm probably going to lend them this one rather than this one. In some cases, the knife's easier to replace, that I loan them. I can probably find another Kershaw Shuffle. And, okay, let's say it was this case, okay, where I was carrying these two. Well, this is a pass-around knife. I have to send this on to the next person so they can do their video or their review, whatever you want to call it, on a knife like this. Am I going to loan this knife to them? No. I'm going to loan them something like this. Now, is there always going to be situations where we run into something that maybe, this just isn't going to work? Well, we might come to that situation. If I come to a situation like that where I might not have, let's say, the bug out. I said the bug out is one of my favorite knives to carry. That's my carry for the day. Maybe I get to something that I really need to cut some 21 thread. Well, if I'm at work, I'll always have something like this on me where I can use it. And like I said, normally I carry for that, but I do have a much bigger blade that can handle something like that. But if I'm out in town, I mean, maybe I got to cut a radiator hose or something like that. I always have a utility knife in my truck, just for a certain situation where a razor blade might be a better option. And, there again, I might have this knife. Well, you know what? I got to put this knife to the next person. They need to have an equal opportunity to check something out. And I try not to alter knives when I'm reviewing them. So this might not be the perfect choice for me to do that. So I do keep tools in my car, in my truck, in case I would run into a situation where I need something a little bit heftier. I mean, even so much as having a pair of angle cutters, wire cutters, that type of thing. I have a tool bag in my truck just for that. Am I always near my truck? No. If I get into a situation, which, I guess I can say I haven't, maybe you have, and the knife I have in my pocket just isn't going to do the job. Well, I guess if that situation ever arises, I'll have to figure something out. It hasn't yet. Could it? Absolutely, 100%. But something like this, because of locality, restrictions, and just overall personal preference, the smaller, lighter knives are what make great EDC knives for me. Now, this might be the one for you. You might want something like that. And if that is the case, then right on. That is good. That makes a good EDC knife for you. And don't let anybody else try to convince you otherwise. So, guys, I'm having fun with this series. I really hope this is another one where I get the question all the time, what do you consider a good EDC knife? Well, I hope I've kind of answered that question. It's not a specific brand or anything like that. And you guys know I had to get the Finch in there because, well, it's just, that's what it is. But, you know, it's a lot of fun. You guys are making some suggestions. And feel free, as always, in any of the, you know, the comment sections of these videos, if you have an idea, hey, what does JB think about this? Please make the suggestion down in the comments. I'd love to share my thoughts with you, give you some ideas. Just big thing, don't let anybody else influence you on what's right for you. And we're actually going to have a video about influence coming up here at some point. So, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. As always, like, subscribe, leave me that comment. You know I love talking to you. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.